to start, neither one of us are morning people. Not even a little bit. But this was absolutely worth getting up for. The guide is knowledgeable, friendly, and passionate about the island. The hike is just the right length, and while we're in decent shape, it's doable if you aren't. Getting to the natural pool before the crowds is so great. There were an astounding number of interesting fish to see, and sea urchins, and it felt so good to have a little swim and then be heading out just as the day was starting to heat up. Yari also brought fresh vanilla lemonade for us, and Dutch fruit biscuits, which was a nice treat after the swim. She also gave us some recommendations for local spots, which we did check out, and some words in Papiamento to use during our trip, which is a very nice touch. I have only two small critiques of the tour overall. 1. The instructions beforehand indicated that we would leave the meeting point at 6:05 a.m. sharp, which we respected, but we waited until almost 6:30 for someone, which meant that we missed a lot of the sunrise, which was a big part of the appeal for this hike for us. I'm sure that person was grateful, but it took from the overall experience for us in a big way. Second, and much less important, the guide told us that the north side of the island faces the Atlantic, and even corrected someone, when any map will tell you that the island is fully within the Caribbean Sea. This was my husband's favorite part of our vacation. My two teens and I loved it too. The hike was easy for anyone who is in decent shape, almost no elevation change except the hill back up to the truck at the end, and yet we felt like we got a good enough workout to earn our beach day afterward. Lots of changes in scenery. The natural pool was incredible, and yes, do bring your snorkel gear. Only 3 other people in the pool, besides our group of 8. Genesis was sweet and offered to take pics of our family at key places. Getting up so early was very worth it. We were never hot on this hike due to the constant wind and low morning temps. I was skeptical about how early this tour met in the morning, but after seeing the crowds of tourists on our first days in Aruba, I understood why early is better. We got to watch the sun come up as we hiked and saw no other living creatures except for goats on the entire hike. And no UTVs. Yari was knowledgeable about the island and terrain. The natural pool was not as calm as I expected, but I got brave and snorkeled a bit and saw some beautiful fish. The scenery along the hike was gorgeous. Yari took an amazing photo of my husband and I to remember the day. I highly recommend this tour. Review written by David W.'s wife. This was an awesome adventure hiking the hilly desert terrain to the secluded beaches of the national park in Aruba. Our guide Genesis was incredibly knowledgeable of the history of Aruba, the area, and local culture. We rented a car and met her at a market. We then drove to the park entrance to start the hike. Super fun, would recommend sleeves as it's pretty windy but warms up as the sun gets higher. My group was unable to enter the natural pool due to the strength of the tide. It was still a super neat experience with plenty of photo opportunities. Would definitely recommend. Genesis was a great tour guide. She was friendly and made sure our group stayed together. My husband and our 2 friends are so happy we chose the hike over an ATV. Genesis took several stops to share information and also take pictures for us. The natural pool itself is beautiful and we loved seeing all of the beautiful reef fish. Be sure to take some sort of water shoes, as it is a bit rocky entering. Other than that, book now. The early start is worth seeing the sun come up and having the pool all to yourself. This was one of the highlights of our trip.